It's 2017, Boston College, and Jackson back to throw. Looking long for Osborne. It is incomplete. Georgia has turned on their fans in the third quarter, and for what happened in that third period, let's go down to Steve Graff.
An interesting thing on that Gary Moss 78-yard touchdown interception. You know that they actually called the wrong play in the huddle. There was a miscommunication on what the defensive coaches sent in. They wanted an outside blitz. Instead, they called a weak blitz. Meanwhile, the tight end was wide open, but happily for Georgia, it turned into a touchdown. Sometimes it's happy to be lucky.
The inside handoff to Henderson. Brought down at the 35-yard line, close to a first down. If it's on the stripe, it is a first down. Carl Frischbein, the strong safety for Boston College, brings down Keith Henderson, the sophomore from Cartersville, Georgia.
Now, it was a draw play. Now, notice they put Henderson in fullback because he's a little bit quicker, Bob, and he starts to split those blitzes. Now, you watch him. He'll split there. Now, to go back like a bait. It's the bait. Set it up. Now, watch the quickness. He gets through the hole. Not bad.
8 of 10 on the play, 1st and 10. Bulldogs from the 35 of Boston College, and here's Jackson on the roll. The reception at the 20-yard line by John Thomas for a first down.
Boy, this Jackson's a competitor. He reminds you of Doug Flutie. Got good blocking here. He rolls out. Now the quarterback can't find anybody. He breaks the receiver, breaks the route. He throws it back across his body, which is not what you're supposed to do. But how about that for success?
And that takes away from any chance to rush because they take the fullback and the tailback and they block right on the corner, which gives the quarterback time to find the receiver.
Gaffney and Frischbein combining on the hit. First down, Georgia at the 20 of Boston College. Good gain of about 6 yards on the play, straight ahead. They unpile. Mike Dignan, Ted Gaffney for Boston College were there. 13:51 remaining, fourth quarter. Boston College, which led 20-7 at halftime. But Vince Dooley's Bulldogs have come back with 10 third quarter points. It is a 20-17 game. Cowboy Jack McDell. Second down at about 4. Tate straight ahead, close to a first down at about the 11-yard line. Mike Dignan, the right tackle for BC, the academic All-America, in on the play.
Now Georgia's going back to the bread and butter, going with Tate, Jackson, Jackson.
And Dignan comes out of the game. On 3rd and short, Tom Burrell comes in to accompany Dave Nugent in the middle of the BC defense. 3rd down in the yard, Georgia at the 11-yard line of Boston College. Power I set with 2 tight ends. Mars fake, first down and a lot more to the 7-yard line. Great surge by the middle of the Georgia line. Burrow, Stevens, and Wheeler.
Watch Perry, number 77, the left tackle, 275 pounds. Bury his man, and there he goes over there. And I like that. See him protect that football with 2 hands. That's very sound, basic football.
Going to bring up first down, goal to go for Georgia at the 6-yard line of Boston College. They stay on the power I set with Henderson in motion. Again, Tate, maybe a yard. He's hit from the backside by Bill Thompson, the right defensive end. Bill Thompson, an interesting story. His mother is a judge in Trenton, New Jersey, Ann Thompson, and his father's a dentist. Talk about coming from some good stock.
Good football player. Right down here now, Georgia's attack has been this. Georgia's tailback has scored 17 touchdowns, and the quarterback has scored most of the others. You'll either see the quarterback or the tailback score in this series.
Second down and goal, Georgia at the 5-yard line. Jackson on the option. Touchdown. Jackson scores his second touchdown of the ball game, and Georgia has retaken the lead that they have not enjoyed since the first quarter.
Okay, the reason why this works is he fakes the ball and freezes everything to the inside, and now he's got a boom, explosion. He gets across. He's awful quick, Coach.
He sure is quick, and the problem has been that Jack Bicknell was concerned about his running ability, and again, the inside support, the nose guard, the inside linebackers over-pursued, and he was so quick, he found the end zone.
Jacobs for the extra point. It is perfect. So the Georgia Bulldogs, who trail by 13 at halftime, have made it all up and more. They lead by 4. We'll come back to Tampa in a moment.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Really? I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The new GI Bill.
Are you using that pickle?
Now for young men and women in the armed forces. It's a great place to start. See your local recruiter.
The leader in long-distance service now costs less. AT&T has lowered weekday and evening prices 13.8%, the largest single reduction in our history, but not the first. Since 1984, our prices overall have dropped more than 20%. Of course, you can always look to AT&T for the highest quality service, and now, see where our prices have gone. AT&T, the right choice.
Okay, keep your eyes on a quarterback, Jackson, now. He'll take the snap, and he'll fake the ball to the inside to the tailback who scored 17 touchdowns. Everybody freezes. He gets to the inside, gets a seam, and watch him. Oh, he cuts back. Robanowski doesn't get him, and boom, he's in the touchdown.
How about the block on Gaffney, the right side linebacker?
Great block, but great quickness on the part of the quarterback, and that's made the difference. And he's come back, James Jackson, the junior.
No, Jackson's got to be a competitive kid. You know one of the reasons why he went to Georgia, Howard? He wanted to be the first black quarterback ever to start at Georgia. And that's why he went to Georgia.
The media guide lists James Jackson at 5'11". There's the time of possession, 6:03. He lists Jackson at 5'11". I don't think he's 5'10". Mistake. Over his head.
You can really tell, that's a great scene right there. You can really tell the tempo of a football game by your specialty teams, and they're in it right here.
Big mistake by Gregory.
It's almost like he didn't know what to do now. Fall down, buddy. Don't let him hit you any harder than that.
BC, their own 10-yard line. Intended for Kelvin Martin, and Greg Williams had the hands on it. It was secondary.
They were just trying to run Kelvin Martin from the split end position on a curl pattern to come back. He was open, but he overthrew it. And all of a sudden, Sean Halloran has lost a little of his accuracy.
You know what? He hasn't had a completion, except to Georgia, since he was knocked down and out of the game one play. That can, I tell you what, that's the best pass defense in the world, is to knock that quarterback down.
You think it still has its effect?
Absolutely. And his confidence.
Halloran way overthrown, intended for Dombrowski. Defending on the play was Will Jones, the rover.
But also a great job by John Little, the safety. He was in front of him. That was a difficult pass. Georgia had good coverage in front and behind the receiver. He elevated the ball too high.
One of the things to watch when a quarterback loses his confidence is the ball will sail on him. In other words, the ball will take off and he'll start throwing high. It's the same thing with a baseball pitcher. When he starts throwing a high fastball, they take him out of the ball game.
Halloran was 22 of 31 in the first half for 242 yards. Not anywhere near that in the second. He wants it all again, and this time John Little with the interception. Tackled by Darren Flutie at the 32-yard line, a 9-yard return, and John Little comes up with a big play for the Bulldogs.
What he read was two safety men. He tried to hit his tight end in the middle. As we see it here, he drops back. He's trying to put Flutie right in the middle here, and he just puts the ball up, and look at the timing on his pass. There's the tight end, Caffarello, and number 19 comes from the free safety position, Little to make the grab.
Okay, where did he throw the ball? He threw it high straight and over the receiver, and when a guy starts doing that, you're in trouble.
John Little, who once upon a time had his interest in archaeology, doing a little digging on that play, comes up with the interception. First and 10. Bulldogs. Jackson on the money to Fred Lane inside the 20-yard line. At the 18-yard line, a pickup of 15 and a first down. Vincent Munn, the right quarterback, defending.
So typical. After a turnover, a big break, you come back with the play action with the pass. They caught him at the split end.
It's amazing. Look at that statistic in the second half. 23 yards offense by Boston College. You win the game coming from behind with defense. Most important.
First and 10, Georgia. Lars Tate behind Henderson's block, except it wasn't there. Excellent play, and knifing through of the play was Bosa, the left tackle. Second-team All-American, cutting through for a loss of 2.
You know, the secret to this ball game right now is the ability for Boston College to hold them just to a field goal. If they can hold them a field goal, make it 27-20, they can dodge the bullet because they can win 28-27.
And we talked about the first half, how much the Georgia defense has been on the field. It's just the opposite. The Boston College defense has been on the field all throughout the third period and here early in the fourth.
Second down and 12. Draw inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. A gain of about 8 on the play, and Mike Dignan makes the stop for the Eagles of Boston College.
That's the draw play. They like to come up in that set. They either like to screen or draw off the split backs, but they came to Tate. Tate, number 32. What a football player.
Boy, I'll tell you, as the leader this year for Georgia in rushing, receiving, scoring, done it all.
When I was the head coach in Indiana, I tried to get him to come to Indiana, but I missed him.
And now neither one of you are there. Jackson with a lot of time. Overthrown. Pass overthrown, intended for 83, Kurt Warner.
But they tried to do that time. The quarterback tried to do a throwback. In other words, he rolled to the left, and he wanted to throw it back in the right-hand corner, but they had good coverage. Again, this is a terrific play for Boston College to force a field goal.
Davis Jacobs to come in to try a field goal of 31 yards. Jacobs in because Steve Crumley pulled a muscle in the thigh.
Number 17, David Jacobs will attempt a 31-yard field goal.
Jacobs. Kick on the way. No good. It is wide to the right. And so with 9:35 remaining in the fourth quarter, it is Boston College trailing Georgia by the score of 24-20.
It's clear. Sony Video 8, the system of the future, or VHS-C, the compromise of the past. Now, as we've seen, the new Sony Handycam with autofocus and zoom gives you a measurably better picture, far superior sound, twice the recording time, and on Sony video cassettes, your memories are safe. While on VHS-C, they could be fleeting. I rest my case.
The Sony Video 8 system. Judge for yourself.
This bud's for all that you do.
It could be any time now.
No, Bill had to leave. Can I help you?
A friend is counting on you.
Need copies by 4:30.
I'll cover it for him.
Not a word.
You keep on coming through, 'cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
Back at the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa, Florida, Howard David, Bob Casciola, and Lee Corso, where Georgia leads Boston College 24-20. And there's a marker on the play, so hang on 1 second.
The marker's
it's getting a little rough out there now.
It's going to go against Boston College. He's starting to lose some concentration. The right tackle that time moved. He leaned a little bit. The right tackle, Wydell, before the snap.
One of the secrets about Holloran right now, and I'm sure Coach Bechtel has talked to him, is you got to throw some completions right now. Even if you got to throw a 5-yard pass twice in a row, just complete it.
Illegal procedure is the call against BC. Halloran in the third quarter, or actually in that third quarter, exactly right, was 2 of 5, but only for 6 yards. That was in the third quarter. they step off the 5 against the Eagles, and we'll get the call from Gil Marchment.
It's up to Halloran in that huddle.
We have a dead ball. False start on the offense.
You know, that Gil Marchman's doing that. When I was in the Big Ten, he wasn't a referee. He likes this better. He's on television more.
He's made it to the bowl since you got out of the Big Ten.
That's right.
1st and 15, Eagles. The fake reverse. Stratford still has it. 35 yards on the run by Troy Stratford.
What happens in the crucials? Who do you come to? You come to the guy that's done it for you throughout his career, throughout the season. It's a beautifully executed play. It's just a toss sweep, and he fakes the reverse, which holds people up for a minute, but the rest is all on him. A great block by 64, Wolf. Joe Wolf, the left guard, broke him, and with his speed and his moves, he gets that ball upfield.
And look who knocks him out of bounds. Number 19. They must think there's 5 19s out there the way that little plays.
Troy Stratford, the breakaway back for BC with a big run against the Eagles. The ball in midfield and close to it. Martin in motion. Goes on. Loose ball. And I believe it's BC has got it. Stratford falls on the loose ball at the 46-yard line. And did Halloran get rocked by Calvin Rupp, who was injured earlier about 10 minutes ago.
And he comes from the backside again as Halloran's waiting for the slot to get open. There's Rupp to make the hit. Calvin Rupp, Eatonton, Georgia.
That is his 3rd quarterback sack. Almost turned out to be was a quarterback sack.
What a difference this half, the pressure they put on Halloran.
Absolutely. The key at halftime, I said, was hitting Halloran and hitting.
The completion to Troy Stratford. Calvin Rupp had him in the flat. Pickup of about 5 on the play.
Slipped Stratford into the flat, got him the football, got some yardage, got back more than he lost the last time. Now he's coming up with a 3rd and about 8. That time, they double-teamed the backside. There are the stats. Look at the first half stats compared to the second one. 12 yards and 242 in the first half for Sean Halloran.
So you can imagine that he has problems hearing, and he calls for a timeout. And so with 8:02 remaining in the 4th quarter, Boston College trailing Georgia by 4.
Again and again, Six Flags, after time of your life, making new friends. Six Flags, after time of your life, you can fall in love, reach for the stars, and rock and roll, steal the show, and then come back for more. Time after time, Six Flags, after time of your life.
As the holidays come around, it's nice to know that even if something breaks, it won't break you. If you shop with the American Express card, because until December 31st, we will extend the free repair period of the manufacturer's warranty. In fact, we'll double it, up to an extra year. Just in case the things you buy aren't all that they're cracked up to be. But be sure to register your purchases with Buyer's Assurance and use the American Express card.
Travel arrangements to Tampa for tonight's telecast made through Eastern, the airline with more flights to more of Florida. This winter, fly with Eastern to a memorable vacation. Eastern, the one to the sun.
Need a safe and easy way to keep your beard and mustache looking great right at home? I use the Groomsman Beard and Mustache Trimmer by Wall. The Groomsman by Wall.
Waddle and Martin out wide to the left side. 3rd down and 8, Boston College. Darren Flutie in motion. The blitz is on, and Halloran is down. 29, Will Jones, the rover, back in on the blitz, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
But they brought the linebacker, Brantley. They overloaded the backside. They didn't have enough people to pick up on the blitz.
Absolutely. One of the things you got to do against a quarterback is if you can't sack them, you scare them. And here they come. They're taking a calculated risk, but they do get to him. Halloran, you see, he's got what we call fast feet. He has no idea where to throw that football.
And so David Rooney to put it away. Low snap, he fields it on one bounce, but he gets it away anyway. Well done, and it goes out of bounds. Very short kick by Rooney. The great pressure coming. John Little was one that was pressuring from the outside. And let's go down to the sidelines to Steve Brad.
We're talking to Miles Smith and John Little, two of the secondary men for Georgia, on the difference in the second half by the defense. They both agreed separately that the secondary was totally confused in the first half by Boston College, trying to adjust to BC. Then they went in at halftime and said to heck with it. Let's just confuse them. We'll try our own defensive sets. And it worked. They really didn't confuse Holloman. And the results are a lead of 24-20.
Okay, Steve, 7:24 remaining fourth quarter. Georgia leading it 24-20, and the Bulldogs have the ball at their own 34-yard line. Jackson's had 2 touchdowns rushing. Sets up the screen of Lars Tate. Tate out to the 45-yard line, 11-yard pickup. Ted Gaffney, the right side linebacker, was there. Interesting stat, gentlemen. BC in the third quarter, third quarter and half of the fourth quarter, 0 for 5 on third down conversions. Boston College 4 for 15 in the game with that stat.
That play was a beautiful play right there by Mark Burrows, the left guard. He came out. He made a great block for Tate. You don't never call those guards names enough, you know? So, Mrs. Burrows, that was your son.
David Dukes goes out wide to the right side. Osborne comes to the near side. Penalty mark to fly. Dave Nugent plugged the hole very quickly for the Eagles, but there is a marker on the play. Henderson, the ball carrier.
With 6:54 left on that clock, you know that they're going to... Goes against Georgia, but you know they're going to come to the things that are bread and butter for them. That's that fullback inside, Heatmanis, the tailback, and the quarterback. They like to run those guys.
We have an illegal shift on the offense. Penalty is refused.
Penalty was refused because there was no gain, so they go 2nd and 10.
Okay, what Vince Dooley is thinking right now is if nothing else, if they can just move the ball down and put them inside the 10, their defense can win the football game in the fourth quarter.
2nd down and 9, Georgia. Tate to the 49-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play. Now, Vince Dooley, not only an outstanding football coach, but early on in his playing career. Matter of fact, when he was a senior, 1954, they used to play the All-Star game, the college All-Star game against the pros, against the Detroit Lions, and against the great Bobby Lane. Vince Dooley intercepted a Bobby Lane pass in that ball game.
Is that right? Before the game or during the game?
Well, we don't know what kind of pass you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Bobby Lane, the late Bobby Lane, and a great football player. Played it tough. Quarterback sack. 71, Dave Nugent. That's his 2nd of the game.
And that's the kind of play you have to make in this situation. Nugent just beat the block of the center and threw him for a loss. It's going to force the punt.
Now, you watch number 71 make a little move to his left. And boom, he was in there before he could do it, and the quarterback did a smart thing. This is not hurting Georgia too much, except for one thing. They didn't use enough of that clock. They're not playing Boston College now as much as they're playing that clock.
So Kelvin Martin will go back in single safety, and BC with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Rush Chris Carpenter.
Bring it home, Kelvin.
And he hits a beauty. Kelvin Martin driven inside to the 5-yard line. Watch out. One more man to beat. And the kicker, Carpenter, just got a hand on him.
Remember what we said, never field the ball inside the 10-yard line? He listened to it. That time he picked it off at the 5. But with an athlete like that, he can pull those things off. What a great return.
A 62-yard return by Kelvin Martin.
Listen, it's a good thing that Carpenter is as good an athlete as he was, or else he would have never made that tackle.
They're going to bring this back, not all the way, but there was either a clip or an illegal block on the return. Maybe that was it. I don't think so. Maybe.
Boy, that's a great play by Martin. But watch the great play by Carpenter right here. He's the last man. He's going to keep him. Dive right there. Good athletic play. He's a baseball pitcher. Could have signed a big contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. You can see he's an athlete.
So there's a break in the action. as Mike Brown helps out on the kick return with the tackle. We'll be right back after these words from your local station.
Knicks basketball, alive at the Garden. It's more than just a game.
Your dashboard tells you about almost all the vital signs of your car. Yet most dashboards can't tell you about your transmission. Lee Miles can. Our exclusive 1095 transmission protection service will replace the pan gasket, clean the screen, adjust bands if needed, adjust linkage, even change the transmission fluid. Just because your dashboard ignores your transmission doesn't mean your transmission should be ignored.
It's been 35 years since Boston College and Georgia met. And I'll tell you, you'd think that these two schools are in the same conference the way they're going at each other. Jack Bicknell, the head coach at Boston College. Once upon a time, his team led by 13. They now trail by 4. Looking to pick his way, and it wasn't there. Maybe a yard on the play. Calvin Ruff, who's having an outstanding second half defensively for Georgia, was there.
Good job. They were breaking that play earlier with that little tailback up inside. Not much of a seam there. They held him to a 1-yard gain, and it's 2nd and 9.
Look at that pretty little girl. She waited for Santa Claus, didn't she? She's going to break some guy's heart.
Gain of a yard on the play, 2nd down and 9. BC from their own 32-yard line. Stratford in motion. The rush is on. Halloran gets away from it. Pass intended for Troy Stratford. I'll tell you what, I don't think Halloran is throwing the ball the same way in the second half as he did in the first.
That time it came for the defensive tackle, Tyrone McClendon, number 99, a great pass rusher. He's got 4.7 speed at 6'4", 251. He just ran around the block of the tackle and was right on his back.
And you notice one thing, all of the big plays have come from Halloran's blind side. And that's where the quarterback can't see. That's why some of the pros back up and do not turn their shoulders to the line of scrimmage.
Stratford comes out of the game. 3rd and 9. Broken up. Tough play by 23, Greg Williams. Pass intended for Casparello.
They tried to bring the tight end down about 8 yards and across to the outside, and the cornerback came up and reacted to the play with support from the strong safety. He's waiting for 85, Casparello, to come open here in the flat. Watch the timing of the play by Williams. Perfect.
Absolutely good defensive play. That was not Halloran's fault. That was a well-thrown football.
4th down and 9. Bad punt. Very short. It's caught by one of the up people. I believe it's 51. Smithers, the linebacker. Bill Smithers from Midfield, Massachusetts, catching the ball on the fly.
Yeah, you could do that.
No, I know that.
That's perfectly legal unless there was a Georgia man near the football. Then you must give him 2 yards to catch the football.
From the helicopter shot over Tampa Stadium, we remind you of Christmas Day as Mizzler TV Sports present the Blue-Gray game. From Crampton Mall in Montgomery, Alabama at 5 Eastern Time. 1st and 10 play coming up Georgia. They're on 46. Jackson on the roll. He loses about 2 or 3 yards because Dave Nugent was in the area.
That was an interesting call. They came out with a power eye set and sprinted him on the corner. They got maximum blocking. He had a chance to either put that ball up as if he was going to pass it, but he kept the football. Boston College played it well, threw him for a 2-yard loss. One of the reasons why you run wide plays is it takes longer. Remember, they're playing the clock. It's 3:45. They're not playing BC right now.
3:40 remaining, 4th quarter. Tate knocked off his feet at the 49-yard line. And the man that got to him first, I believe, was Ted Gaffney, the right side linebacker. Romanowski also in on the play, and Lawrence Payton picks up about 3 on the play.
Vince Dooley's just thinking of first downs right now. Get that first down, wind that clock down, get field position.
There's a drill called the two-hand drill. Anytime there's under 4 minutes to play, every man that touches the football keeps 2 hands on it and protects it.
Third and 6 play coming up for the Bulldogs. Official right on top of the play was intended for Osborne. And it was Munn, Vincent Munn, the right cornerback, played the ball very well, and the official right on the play.
Excellent job by Munn. He came up on that out pattern, and he really timed it perfectly. Big play, but Boston College is going to get the ball back, and when they do, it'll probably be deep in their territory.
I question the call. Number 1, that could have been an interception and gone all the way. Number 2, they didn't play the clock. They stopped it for Boston College.
Georgia with the lead by 4. 4th down, and Chris Carpenter, the punter for Georgia, to kick it away to Kelvin Martin. The last time he ran 62 yards. Gets it on 1 bounce. Runs it out to the 24-yard line. There is a loose ball. Georgia's saying they've got it, but the referee on the play says it is BC ball. Now, Boston College has 2 timeouts remaining with 2:38 to play in the 4th quarter, and they trail 24-20. Obviously, a field goal means nothing. You got to go for 6.
You got to go for 6. One thing I'd like to say before we get into the 2-minute drill. I'll make a prediction. 3 years from now, like Tom McEwen of the Tampa Tribune said, this will be one of the top 5 or 6 bowls in the country within 3 years. It's a great game.
They're starting out on the right foot, needless to say. Probably as good a matchup as you'll find in a bowl game, except for the big one at the Fiesta. Coming out of the backfield, Casparello at the 35-yard line. Casparello's from Somerville, Massachusetts. And there's a gentleman there, Joseph Reagan, who was an assistant principal at a high school up there, junior high up there. But that junior high is where the chief executive officer of MSLU went to. Vic Piano went to Somerville High. See, we have to say that. Because otherwise your check will not be in the mail.
And I need it. It's Christmas time.
Got a 3-yard gain. Troy Stratford picked up about 3, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 7.
Now Jack Bicknell, Sean Halloran have to start playing with that clock. They know what they've got in the way of timeouts. They've got 2 left, and they also know how far they got to go.
You know, that's an interesting call right there. I'm not going to second-guess Bicknell, except you do not run the football right now. You throw it every down. You got to win this game. That clock's going to beat you.
Halloran under a rush. The ball was tipped. Excellent play by Tyrone McClendon. He knocked it down, coming in with a big rush at 6'4". And let's go down to 5'11", Steve Grant.
The King of Soul, James Brown, with us. Your halftime show is rained out, but boy, everybody is talking about the Junkyard Dog song you recorded.
Yes, I'm a very good friend of the coach. And Georgia's always been my alma mater. But I tried to be fair today, you know.
Have you been well received by both sides?
I go to Boston a lot, you know.
All right, James Brown, the King of Soul, back up to Howard.
I like that coat that lady was wearing. Halloran finds Casparello across the 50 and wrestled out of bounds at the 47-yard line and a 1st down.
Good job by Halloran. He hung in there, and he waited for the tight end to come underneath because Georgia's playing back and giving him those short, intermediate passes.
One of the things you do in a 2-minute drill is to throw the football to the outside. The reason why, now he'll go back and he'll throw the ball to the outside so that, number 1, as soon as he catches it, he can get out of bounds and stop the clock. Remember, that clock is the most important thing in that field right now.
Minute 41 to go. Bradford gets hammered at the line of scrimmage by 72, Larry Brown. The junior from Decatur, Georgia, and now BC calls for a timeout. They have 1 more to go. Minute 33 to play, 4th quarter at the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa. Georgia is up by 4.
The jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Try this. Sidex, I need help now.
You got it.
Hit this when you feel it.
1 second. With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, its strong decongestant keeps you breathing. Breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours. Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
IBM presents a sneak preview of a television series that makes mathematics so appealing and fun for kids that you will want to remember its name. Multiplication. Geometry.
A prime number.
This just into the newsroom.
Fractions.
12/16 is smaller than 7/8.
They're all part of the fun on Square One TV. Square One TV is underwritten in part by IBM and is produced by Children's Television Workshop. It will air every weekday on most PBS stations, premiering January 26th. Watch for it.
Just a little simple mathematics.
Helping support Square One TV is another way IBM is helping support education.
Second down and 10. Boston College from the 47 of Georgia. The blitz is on. Halloran makes the connection to Darren Flutie at the 35-yard line, and it stops the clock on the first down as they move the chains. Will Jones made the saving tackle.
They blitzed the rover back that time, which forced man coverage. Great job by Halloran. He read him open right now, and he gets the ball away before 29 can get to him. And there's Flutie.
And that's an outstanding catch by Flutie. Notice how those hands went out.
First and 10 BC at the 35. The play fake Halloran. He wants it all. He's got Waddle out there. No, it is incomplete. They say he caught it out of bounds. And the BC fans are irate. Waddle made the catch, but did he catch it in bounds?
Here it is. Just Waddle just taking off on a fly pattern down the sideline. He's beaten 23 Williams to the outside. Watch his feet.
Yes!
That's a touchdown.
Absolutely.
We only need 1 foot in bounds in college football.
Oh, Pete Rozelle. Tell him that was a touchdown.
That's the third. There was 2 controversial touchdowns in the first half. That is a controversial non-touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
Anyway, watch it again. He's got the ball. Watch his left foot. His right foot right there. He's in.
That's a touchdown.
And you know, the bad thing about that official, he was in poor position.
He was behind the play.
Yeah.
Minute and 10 to go in the game. Second and 10, BC. Halloran looking, throwing, has his man inside the 30-yard line. Darren Flutie. But it's not enough for a first down, so the clock continues to move inside of 1 minute. Now they have stopped the clock. BC is going to spend their last time out. Wise choice or not?
Oh, yeah, you got to now. They can't mess around. But my point was those 2 runs a long time ago cost them about 40 seconds and cost them 1 timeout. Now, you know who they're going to? They're going to Flutie, the most sure-handed guy. But what about Martin?
Well, they haven't come to Martin. They've used the tight end. In their offense, you can see anybody, but you usually come to the guys that have got you there before, and I would think it would be Martin or Flutie.
Down in the corner.
Exactly.
In a situation like this, what the coach is telling them, whatever you do, if you don't see the guy wide open, throw it away. Don't force anything. And Coach Dooley right now has got a major decision. Does he allow his defensive coordinator to blitz or to cover?
They've been successful with the blitz. That's kept them in the ball game. It got them back in the ball game. Made big plays for them in the second half. Are they willing to take a chance with the ball sitting on the 28-yard line?
That's why Vince Dooley is third among active coaches with 175 wins.
I'd like to thank Reed Oslin, the sports information director at Boston College, and Claude Belton, the SID in Georgia, of course, supplying us with all the information in our preparation for tonight's Hall of Fame ball in Tampa. It has been a dandy. Howard David, Bob Casciola, and Lee Corso, along with Steve Brad. We are really witness to a beauty. Third down and 3. The rush is on. He throws it on the run, and it is dropped by Troy Stratford. It'll set up a 4th down, but it stops the clock with 55 seconds.
And the reason he was forced was, again, they came with Brantley. They really took a chance, and they gambled. And they let him go with the linebacker, and he went man coverage.
Absolutely. Now, let me tell you something. Right here is what Bicknell is famous for. He'll come up with a play right now that is a sure 5-yard gain. Mark my words, he will not go for the touchdown. He'll go for a 5-yarder.
Waddle comes into the ball game, and Flutie goes out. Waddle, the possession receiver. But he's got George Stratford split out wide to the left side. The rush is on to the blind side. He lays it up and is incomplete. But there's a marker on the play. Hold on, there is a marker on the play. John Brantley might be called for defensive holding.
Very interesting call. The umpire turned. The back judge didn't do anything, but the guy from the side called the play.
That is going to be against Georgia. And Brantley is arguing the call. It is definitely against the Bulldogs. Boston College has new life with 51 seconds remaining. The defensive holding call, first down, BC.
And they went to just the pass that Lee was talking about, a possession pass that could get them enough for the first down.
You see how far Coach Dooley's on the field. That could be a 15-yard penalty, but he won't call it right now.
Pass interference on the defense. First down.
Pass interference gives Boston College a first down at the 17-yard line of Georgia. And Georgia now calling for a timeout. They're calling Brantley over. It's a call timeout, Brantley. They're trying to get the officials' attention, and they succeed for a timeout.
Now, the reason why they're doing that is to settle everything down. Georgia's upset about the penalty, and they're all yelling and screaming. Settle on. Take it easy. You've got 51 seconds to go. He's going to call him over there. He's a veteran coach. He's got his team captain owner leader.
He's been in his position many times, and he's the guy who takes charge right now.
Absolutely. They call him the chairman of the board, but you notice who's taking over right now? The stock's gone down. The chairman is moving into the boardroom and taking over.
If Georgia is upset about the last pass interference call, is BC not correct to be upset with the touchdown and they'd be credited for it?
Absolutely. But see, they don't know that right now.
Now, they've got what they're doing here is they're talking on the sideline. Coach Bicknell, they've got Sam Timer, the quarterback coach, upstairs, and they've got a couple of plays called here. They know what happens if it works, if it doesn't work, what they want to go to.
Number one, if they complete a pass inside the field and it's not a first down, they've got to line up and throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. They have no timeout, and that's what he probably reminds them.
So he sends Martin, Flutie, and Stratford, trip receivers to the left side. Casparello, the tight end, lined up on the right side.
Now, you could get man coverage here if they're willing to take a chance. It's tough to do it when they spread you that far, and if so, you got to look for that tight end.
Trip receivers to the left. They're all lined up. You can see it. Halloran throwing it into the end zone, looking for Martin. It is incomplete. Martin threw John Little in man coverage, and it stops the clock with 46 seconds remaining. Second down.
Great call. Why? Number one, you got the best guy in the team going to a corner. If it's not complete, the ball is out, they don't lose it.
Now, Boston College is out of timeouts. When the clock stops on the incompletion with 46 seconds remaining.
One of the things a lot of people try to do this time with the trips is set them out. Watch one of the guys going towards the middle this time.
Trip receivers to the left side again. The quick drop. The completion. Stratford to the 6-yard line. The clock continues to move, but they're going to stop the clock to move the chains.
What they've had to do throughout this entire drive is they had to keep their tight end in the block because of the pressure they're getting on the backside. So they really have to look to those three receiver sides.
All right, here comes a fade in the corner. The quarterback's going to throw the ball in the right or left-hand corner on a quick pass.
They'll start the clock with 37 seconds to go in the game. Halloran, the quick drop. He throws it into the corner. Touchdown to Calvin Martin. Second half connects with Kelvin Martin for the touchdown.
And Lee, you called it. It's the fade pattern to the outside. He's working against 23 Williams, and the ball is put right over the outside shoulder, perfectly thrown. That's it.
There's one thing you learn in coaching. If you're going to get beat, you get beat with your best player. You never go home not hitting your best player, and that's what they did. Now, that's an automatic save.
And let's say a lot for Halloran here because he's had a tough third period. He's come back here, and there it is. 3 steps, and the ball is delivered.
I'll tell you what, every time this guy, you feel he's on the deck, and he's such a quiet kid, Halloran, he had to fit into the big shoes left by the little guy, Doug Flutie. A lot of people wanted his head. They said he doesn't belong to be the #1 quarterback, but Bicknell took him out of the Rutgers game and brought him back in the Penn State game.
This is important, you know. They can still win the game with a field goal.
The extra point is good, so now it's a 3-point game. With 32 seconds to go, Georgia has 2 timeouts remaining. Let's take a look at that touchdown reception by Kelvin Martin one more time.
They'll come out with 2 wide receivers, really wide, 1 in the slot, but they go to Martin on the right side. He's alone, one-on-1 against Williams, and it's the fade pattern. He fades to the sideline. You just can't throw it any better than that.
Absolutely, and that's a play that the pros do over and over again, and they did it just as good as anybody in the National Football League, or I might add, the United States Football League. Just a little plug. Keep it plug.
Keep it alive, baby.
That's
Keep
right.
it alive.
Orlando Renegades are still alive.
Keep it alive.
Now, Vince Dooley is saying the following things. Number 1, it's not over yet. That's most important. We can tie it with a field goal. We need to get into that trips formation, hit 2 passes, call 2 timeouts, and kick a long field goal and tie it.
Georgia's record in the 1980s is 4th best in the country behind Nebraska, BYU, and Penn State. Dooley knows how to win.
Let me give you
what he can do about getting this thing in by way of a tie. So we'll check out the Budweiser most valuable player, Sean Halloran.
I'd like to make one statement about the Boston College program, too. In a recent study conducted by the College Football Association, Boston College ranks 2nd only to Notre Dame in number of football players who have graduated. Now, that is a tremendous honor.
I'm going to come back at you. Okay? Georgia's produced more scholar athletes than any other Southern school.
All right, Bob, it's your turn.
How can I compete with that? You guys are on both sides of me here. Well, here we go. 32 seconds.
Now, there was a penalty assessed on Boston College for coming out of the field, so the 15 yards is assessed to BC right now on this kickoff. So this kickoff is going to come from the 20-yard line. Now, keep in mind, down on the field, the wind is blowing to Boston College's back, going towards the Georgia side of the field. You got Lane and Lewis back deep. They're standing at the 30-yard line. Georgia might be able to get great field position out of this return.
The game is not over. Believe me.
And it's a short kickoff. Nate Lewis at the 31-yard line, heading for the sidelines. And he doesn't get out of bounds. But they'll stop the clock here with 28 seconds remaining. The ball at the 49-yard line of Georgia. They have 2 timeouts.
That's exactly right. They have 2 timeouts remaining. They can utilize the timeouts and get out of bounds.
Okay, what they'll do is they'll set trips. Make 3 receivers one way, throw the ball to the outside, get out of bounds, and try to set up a field goal.
Using that quarterback Jackson, sprinting probably, and get that best blocking he can get out of it, and also get him on the move.
Keep one thing in mind, the regular field goal kicker for Georgia is injured. The number 2 kicker may not have the same range. They go out of the shotgun for the first time tonight.
They got too many guys in the field. Dude, they got too many guys on the field.
They called it.
I think they called it. Ball is picked and intercepted. Steve Williams comes up with the interception. Lee, you're right.
You got penalties galore here.
Yeah, there's a lot of penalties. There might have been a penalty on the pass. Let's find out what it is. We'll try to get through all of this. But we know there were too many men on the field for Georgia. There could have been pass interference on that last reception.
It is a great game. Oh, this is fun. Not as much fun as coaching.
Ineligible man downfield and pass interference against BC. They don't say anything about too many men on the field. So the penalties offset each other, and they'll bring it back to the 49-yard line with 18 seconds remaining.
And BC wants a timeout. They want a timeout right now.
BC
but they don't have a timeout, so the officials, so they're okay.
We have 12 men on the offense. pass interference on the defense. Penalties, offset. We will replay.
You know what Big Nell's doing there?
He's signaling.
He's saying the ball was tipped.
That's
and
right.
once the ball is tipped, there's no pass interference.
That's exactly what he said, right?
You can read his lips. 18 seconds remaining. Georgia has another life. And Georgia calls for a timeout. Hold on to your armchair. It ain't over yet. BC up by 3. We'll be right back.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
Edge for extraordinary closeness. Edge for extraordinary comfort. It's not your ordinary shave.
Introducing Adidas, the fragrance. Crisp, fresh, and very, very masculine. Adidas, the fragrance, cologne, and aftershave for men.
Need a van or truck for a day or two, or a week, or even longer? Call Rent-A-Wreck, now nationwide. Rent a used car or truck and save.
Travel arrangements made by Delta Airlines, the official airline of the Hall of Fame Bowl.
Back at the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa, Florida, Howard David, Bob Cassiola, Lee Corso, and Steve Grad. 18 seconds remaining, and while we were away, look at the argument that ensued because Bicknell said the ball was tipped and therefore no pass interference.
That's exactly what he's saying. He says you can't possibly call that, and watch him.
He's really saying that. I know a good Italian restaurant across town.
Snap is over Jackson's head out of the shotgun. He falls on it at the 24-yard line. 10 seconds, 9 seconds remaining, and a timeout is called for.
That's a tough situation to get into. They probably don't use that very often, but they had to do it here to get maximum protection. And the snapper, in an unusual situation, twice got the ball over the quarterback Jackson's head.
A timeout signaled by the referee, Gil Marchman. That is Georgia's last timeout. They got time for one pass with 7 seconds remaining.
Okay, what they'll do is the same thing that Flutie did, so all the people in the East don't go to bed yet. Remember Miami?
Yeah.
Boston College? I was there. Flutie threw it, but this is a little longer. This is about 65 yards. 65 yards in here. Maybe he'll throw it to somebody and he'll throw another one, but basically right now the game should be won by Boston College. Even if they complete a pass, they should win the game. It's been a great football game.
But what a game it's been on both sides. For Georgia to come back after trailing at halftime, to come back and dominate play in the third period, move ahead in the fourth period. And then, of course, Sean Halloran picked it up in the fourth quarter again, as he's done the last 7, now 8 weeks of the season for Boston College.
It's 7 seconds remaining, and Boston College leading 27-24. In the inaugural Hall of Fame Bowl, our thanks to the chairman of the bowl, Bob Sutton, Jim Times, everybody at the bowl for having us here. It's been a great one. Jackson is going to air it out. Steps up and just throws it downfield, looking for help. And it's batted down as time runs out. Carl Crispin made the play defensively for Boston College. And the Eagles of BC beat the Bulldogs of Georgia in a thriller. First meeting between these two schools since 1951. And it turns out to be a dandy. The MVP, Sean Halloran, our Budweiser most valuable player. And the people responsible, the executive producer, Vic Piano. In charge of production, Bill Swing. Our director tonight is doing a great job, Roger Swing. Tonight's producer, Brad Buss. And the rest of the Ms. Lou staff, technical director, Phil Doucette. Our technical manager, Stan Leshner. Bob Davis, our associate director. John Hilson, our entire crew. We hope you have just a great Christmas, everybody. Join us for the Blue-Gray Bowl on Christmas Day at 5 o'clock Eastern. Steve Bradley Corso will be there, and Jack Bicknell, a very happy man, as he leads his BC Eagles off the field after winning the rebirth of the Hall of Fame Bowl here in Tampa, Florida. Final score, Boston College 27, Georgia 24. For Steve Brad, Lee Corso, and Bob Cassiola. I'm Howard David saying thanks for watching and good night from Ms. Lou TV Sports in Tampa, Florida.
In the latest customer satisfaction survey, this car came in first.